As we talked about, symbols are things that stand in for something else. They represent something. If we're looking at a poem where we want to think about how a symbol can be used, it is something that is going to have its own meaning within the poem, but it is also going to have these other meanings as well. So we might think about the hammock. In lying in a hammock, he is actually lying in a hammock, but we can think about how that hammock ends up representing a certain kind of a lifestyle, either a lifestyle that he wants to lead or a lifestyle that he wishes that he wasn't actually leading. And so we have to recognize that it can hold its original meaning. We can still be in the hammock. We don't have to think that there's something else going on. He is actually lying in the hammock, but we can think about how that hammock ends up representing some of these other ideas. Recognize that all kinds of other things become symbols as well. We can talk about how cars become a certain kind of a symbol. People might want to have a luxury car, and they spend a lot of money for that because that car represents something about what represents a certain idea that they may want to portray to the world. It suggests that they have a certain amount of wealth. You can think about this way. If you had a car that was exactly the same as a Mercedes, let's say, it drove like a Mercedes, it had all the features inside just like a Mercedes, but if it had a different name on it, let's say they called it a Hyundai, even though it had all the exact same features of a Mercedes, would people pay as much for it? No, they wouldn't, because what they're paying for when they buy the Mercedes is not just the car, but what that name uh, ends up representing. So think about that with symbols. Think about how the symbol ends up representing some of these larger ideas and how we have a tendency to communicate through those symbols. There's all kinds of information that can be portrayed through the various symbols that we use.